All right, Don, good to see you, Don. So the question is relevancy of having an online community. How do you mean?
Well, it was just, one of the things with marketing is being relevant. And so I'm just thinking of the relevancy for 2023. Like we talked last session a month ago about starting community. You gave me really good advice about took on 2 pages of notes, but I just was thinking again about relevancy. My other work, I'm looking at what's the relevancy of the work I do now since COVID and pandemic, whatever your view is. And so I was just putting that out there, that what's the relevancy of having and I know it's my community, but just generally, I think there's because like Facebook, the censorship is one that comes off the bat. So
is it why would people want to join your community, or why would people want to join any online community?
It's both.
Yeah. Okay, well, in terms of, good question, what is the relevancy for any of us of having an online community? Like, why would it be relevant to them? Why would they want to join an online community? So instead of me answering this, let me put this in the chat. So why join any online community? I mean, guys, we're not busy enough. We're not spending enough time on the computer. So let's just take a minute. I have to pop to the bathroom quickly. But in the chat, I'm going to invite everyone to put as many ideas as you can think of, like, what is it that could make this relevant? Why would somebody do this? Why would somebody spend their time, their money, their energy on this? And I'll be right back. Okay, so why join an online community? It's important to connect with one's tribe, especially that it's not always possible to do this in person. Yeah, this is one of the biggest reasons I would say people are drawn to online communities. Let's just imagine there's 2 different types of community: communities of affinity and communities of geography. Yeah, and they're not the same. And often people in their own geographic communities feel bereft of any kind of like-mindedness. They're the rainbow sheep in the family and nobody gets it. Nobody understands them. So this is one of the big reasons people go is, okay, these people are like-minded. I can talk about the things I want to talk about. They get it. They understand me. And sometimes online is the only place to do that. So yes, there's that. Right, they don't have community already. They realize they need more human connection, even if it's online, want to find people who they can relate to. Yeah, connect conveniently with like-minded people. You all got the idea, right? Freedom of speech. Yeah, there's certain things people want to talk about, and Facebook and Instagram don't take kindly to it. So having a place where you can actually have the conversations, and some conversations, it's not even that they would be censored, but that they don't do well with a lot of public exposure. You want to talk about your politics, your thoughts on gender, it's like, oh man, these things just seem to attract the trolls on every side. And it's so, on this theme of sacred and secret, there's certain conversations that do better. People are more honestly able to wrestle within certain, there's a reason there's women's circles and men's circles, and people of color get together and have their own little caucuses, and because there's certain things it's just easier. It's better to share within one's group, within one's people, and then you can have the other conversations outside. So that's true. Yeah, connect, ease of finding information and support. Yeah, sometimes people join a community because there's a library of stuff and it's really well organized, and they can't get that. The library we have on a membership is pretty well, we're getting it there. I wouldn't say it's the best in the world, but that can be part of it. Oh, I can find everything I'm looking for. There's one guy I follow, he's an alternative health doctor. He has so many videos, and it just kills me because it's like, I just want to create his mighty networks and organize his content so I can find the stuff, because otherwise I have to go on to, YouTube or whatever, or BitChute, wherever his videos are, and just try to find, okay, here's the video and search, and I have to open up the descriptions of every, oh man. So yeah, if you can promise hey, I've got all this content, but I've got it really tightly organized here in all these ways. Yeah, that's very compelling. Let's see. Answering and hearing the answers to the regret question just on here. On the chat, a few minutes has already, in a way, turned back the hands of time. Oh, well, that's nice. But yeah, that's part of why having conversations. So many times people say, just hearing you coach somebody else that was useful for me in some way. So there's that. People will often join from. Okay, there you go. Don, those are some thoughts.
Yeah, good thoughts. Yeah, one of the things that I found, I did a course on aging well with Danny Inney on the pilot program, was with the elderly people. And what I found, what people need, and I think this is across the board, is dialogue. And so I think using Zoom chat rooms is an amazing tool. Like, again, just to hear yourself talk and to think like that's, and if you're alone or you don't have like-minded people, or you have a different point of view than your rest of your family, then to be able to talk out to other people what you're thinking and feeling, even just one other person, is like, I think, so needed now, because we don't have those conversations. And so when I get into a webinar and I get to go into a breakout room, I love it. And usually people, can spend a lot of time in there. And they, if you could have 3 people, so you could monitor that. Sometimes if you want to cover a particular subject. Anyways.
Exactly. And the key is to know for our people, there's all sorts of reasons we've laid out, all sorts of things you can do with an online community. And let me give 2 questions. Is very helpful when we're designing any offering, and certainly also true of an online community. These are 2 questions I got from a book called Monopolize Your Marketplace. The first question is the customer values question. And the question is this: what's most important to them when buying what I sell? So in the case of online communities, what's most important to somebody when signing up for an online community? And if we want to get more specific, what's most important to my people when joining an online community? And you can just ask people. You can just ask your people, like, hey, if you're going to join an online community, what's most important to you? Because for some of them, for certain crowds, the overwhelming answer would be really well-organized information. I want to be able to find your resources on these topics. For another one, it would be, oh, I just want to connect with others. And then it's, all of these are factors, but you could do a little survey, like which of these is most important to you, or is there something else? Because it's good to know for your people. I just assume that different crowds would prioritize different things. So that's one. What's most important? Because if the thing that is most important to them is the information, and what you're trying to do is foster all these little Zoom breakout group, and they don't give a shit, or vice versa. You see what I'm saying? And then you're putting it all in your marketing, and you're just completely missing the boat on what matters to your people. But the second question is the industry frustrations question. And the question is, what is it that annoys or frustrates or bothers people in terms of buying what you sell? So if I were to say, what are your frustrations or hassles, or, with plumbers, you got a list. You've had the experience, they show up late, they don't fix it right the first time, they charge more than the initial quote, there's the ass crack thing, there's all sorts of things that really bug us. And so the same about online communities. What frustrates you about online communities? Oh my God, there's too much information, it's overwhelming. Oh, there's not enough calls, there's too many calls, there's what. But you want to know for your people, what is it that's frustrating? When you have those 2 things, like what would draw them to it and what would repel them from it, you can better craft the offer. And then for everybody, this is such a killer resource. You're going to be so glad you just stuck on the call, just so you could hear this. This is not mine, though. This is my cover of it. Like I didn't write the song, but this is my cover. Is called the value slider, and I'll put the link in here, marketingforhippies.com/value slider. This comes from a guy, Tom Poland, who wrote a book called Leadsology, which is a fantastic book, recommend. And this chapter on the value slider, it's a series of criteria. He has 7, I've turned it into 14 criteria that you can use when looking at any offer you make as a service provider. And you can rank it 1 through 10 on each of them. What's very helpful about this is it's one thing to say, okay, I want my offer to be more valuable. Well, of course, but in broad strokes, that's hard. But if we go specifically based on there's these 10 external criteria, 4 internal criteria, and there's a little form you can even fill out. It'll email you the responses you put in, just so you have them in one place. Really handy. I recommend it. So let's move on from there. But Don, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome.